Hey y'all. I was told to add an extension to the video I made yesterday about my experience of what I went through when I was driving, where I felt an energy of feeling unplugged. Um, I guess I didn't go into enough detail about the specific things so that you guys could see if you guys are going through it specifically yourselves. Um, so one of the things the reason I had to park my car, and if this is your first video you're seeing of me with this story, check out my bio. It's in there. In my profile, not my bio. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. um, the reason I had to park my car is because I was going through phases every. I'm not shitting you when I say phases every 5 to 10 seconds of me trying to recall not only where I was going, why I was driving, because I was confused why I was like even feeling these weird shifts while I was in the middle of driving, and then not even know where I'm going. I'm like, okay, I need to park because I'm also not recalling if I even can fully remember how to drive fully, even though I know how to drive. I know how to drive, but I was trying to recall certain things of, okay, trying to shift into this lane, trying to make sure that I'm remembering to turn on my signals. Like, it just the simplest shit. Like, I was having trouble recalling things that my old reality put meaning to. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was freaking out. I was in a daze that didn't make sense to me. I'm a very analytical person. I go off of a lot of logic and sometimes a lot of theoretical perspectives, but this was way out of my comfort zone of what just hit me. What is happening? Why are things looking different? Like when I was looking down the road where I was driving, the intersection lights didn't look the same. Nothing looked the same. It was like I saw what was on the signs. I saw the lights. I saw everything, but none of it had meaning. There was no meaning to it. It was just there. It was like there, just being. And I was then like trying to get myself together when I parked my car because and when I parked my car, I parked in front of a car that said 222 on it. Um and I just started laughing because I felt like I was not in control anymore of anything. I, I just had to start laughing because as much as I was freaking out, laughing could calm me down sometimes when I have no idea what the fuck is going on. And I felt like I was spiraling because I had no answers and my screen just went dark. I was seeing angel numbers as I've been making this message and I haven't talked about it because I didn't want to lose track of my explanation because Spirit was really pushing me to make this message because this is such a vulnerable experience for me. And so when I got home, I couldn't focus on things that inspire me, things that bring me joy. All I could do was just sit. Okay? All I could do was just sit and do nothing and figure out, or at least I was attempting to try to figure out, why am I going through all of this? Why can't I focus? Why are things looking different? Why is it I feel like I'm in some like reality where like I'm conscious of what I'm doing, but none of it has meaning anymore. Like the things that I'm doing outside of what brings me joy have no meaning anymore unless I'm doing stuff that actually is enjoyable to me. Um, Something as simple as me when I saw myself putting gas in my car, I was just like, I know this isn't real, and yet somehow I can touch it. This actually has no meaning either. Like, it was just, I was spiraling a bit. It started to become depressing. I was just like, oh my God. And so, thus, then old habits started to come to surface. Unconscious eating, laying around, watching TV until I fell asleep. Like, just things that were not, um, that were a part of an old version of me. And this old version of me is a very recent version of me that I've recently been like putting to rest. And so yesterday in my video when I explained like this is an opportunity for me to look at a version of my old self, like I genuinely like mean a very very real opportunity for me to look at that version of me that I just finished putting to rest, that is coming back like, hey, you're feeling depressed, I'm here for it. And then it's like, no, 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 let's backtrack here. And I couldn't see that till 2 weeks down the road, which is AKA yesterday and today. And then I came to this depressive phase of, so if there really is no meaning outside of what brings me joy, all these problems that they talk about um outside of me in this public, or all of this stuff also is like, okay, it's there, but what meaning does it have? Because that's another reality. And then I realize we're surrounded, and this is my perspective, y'all. I realize that, like, what if we're surrounded by a bunch of realities that are rooted from ego, and knowing that the ego isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it can turn into something toxic if it's not integrated and balanced. What if in reality, like, we're surrounded by a bunch of egos that created a reality that we are choosing to then go into our own selves, to then project our own internal realities, to then recreate the reality built off of another person's ego. But then in a sense the ego is a part of the journey, because the ego assists with putting together and projecting a new reality that we want to live in, versus the reality that we were told we were supposed to live in, that is not from within us but outside of us. I'm still trying to make sense of that realization I just came to. So when I came to this realization of that, I wanted to stop the video here, but they said I got the feeling I'm supposed to keep going. Oh my God, this is so vulnerable. Okay. Then I came to the realization that each one of us is here to learn to create our own realities from within ourselves that bring us joy, not to operate in the reality that others put in front of us to operate in. Then oneness, in my perspective, comes into play, not just with knowing that we're all connected and community, but at the same time connecting with people who have similar ambitions, visions, and inner realities they're trying to project into recreating a reality for a community within the world to assist with putting together a new world. But that doesn't mean that the world is going to be similar for everybody, which is why Soul Tribe exists. Thus, the meaning of what to do and what gives what meaning also as well comes from what brings us joy, not everything outside of us, which is why it's important to pursue what brings us joy instead of operating in another alternate reality that we're told to follow, which is thus what we grew up in, that is rooted from another person's ego instead of from our own inner soul guidance.